Hello and welcome along to the start of a brand new season of this FM20 story. The head coach with me, Daniel. It's season 6, episode 1, and we start our first full season at Charlton today after the disappointment in the playoffs last season. But it was a fantastic achievement to get there in the first place, and this season, with a pre-season under our belts, we're trying to make it over a full year into the playoffs again. We're not predicted to do quite as well. We haven't had the best summer in the transfer window. You can see one or two that have joined the club and a couple out injured already, but otherwise we've got a decent chance this year. We've largely got the same squad as we had last season. Of course, being the Championship, there's still a bit of the transfer window to go. Doesn't close until Thursday in 5 days' time. We've also got transfers to talk about too. Players coming in and out, lots of sell-on clauses that the Director of Football's got to worry about. A few players that are possibly going out on loan. We've got an offer for Dylan Phillips. We can't afford to lose our keeper. Presumably we'll end up with a replacement before next week. But otherwise, we've got lots of interesting news to come. We'll play our first game of the season too. We're away against Swansea over in Wales, and then we'll have transfer deadline day in the next episode. Just turn it into a proper summer bonanza. But firstly, before we go and look at the deals already done, a massive thank you to everyone following along for another season. I know the summer transfer special is always the most exciting moment. If you are enjoying it and looking forward to another year, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe for daily FM20 content from 2 long-term stories. This one every 2 days at 4:30, a one-club series with Dorking Wanderers in between, and who knows, we might even get a Premier League offer this year. If we keep overachieving with Charlton Athletic, who knows what could happen. We've been at Halifax and Scunthorpe. We've already been given big offers from there. We're not really overachieving at all. So this one is another opportunity for us to do that. But let's talk about our players we've got in first. Not a massive summer transfer overhaul. Just a few players coming in, mostly on loan. And then lots of players leaving the club. One big sale, one little sale. And lots of players leaving on frees or loans. Most of it just under 23s going out. So there's not really a huge overhaul to talk about. So firstly, let's go and have a look at the release players, just so you can see any first team names there. Asai Samuel featured a few times for us. Other than that, Michael Hector played 1 game. But apart from that, I think it's just under 23s there. So not really any superstars to talk about. In terms of transfers out, the big one is Openda, the sub-striker. Over £6 million to go off to China. 24 years of age, didn't score many for us. A decent player, he's got all the attributes. So we're a little bit sad to see him go without a replacement, but I'm sure we'll be alright without him. The other transaction that brought in a little bit of money is Shane Duffy, the experienced centre-half. He's gone to Santa Clara for 200 grand. He's played the first few games for us before our players returned from injury, just because we had a centre-half crisis when we arrived. But otherwise, he's not really good enough now. At 32, he's lost all of his physical attributes. So he's on his way. He's playing over in Portugal now, and we wish him the very best in the twilight of his career. A few other notable names going. Kyle McAllister was on the bench a few times for us. Silas Naka we knew was going already. Is there anyone else down there? I don't think there is. It's mostly just youngsters. There's not really been much change to the first team at all. So let's go straight to the ins. James Justin's the first one. £3.5 million from Derby. Picked up a knock since, unfortunately. He would have been first choice right back. We've still got our backup in John Joe Kenny. Possibly going to be first choice at the moment. Those two will compete it out for that spot. But good to have a local hero from Luton alongside us. He's played 13 games in both of his stints for Charlton so far, so hopefully this one will be a little bit longer. But James Justin the first to join us, as our Director of Football took up the optional fee that he put in place in January. Second on the list is Robson Brown, a central defender from Manchester City on loan. 18 years of age at regen, 3.5 ability, 5-star potential. Looks a super talent. He will definitely come in there. Probably one of the interesting things actually. Bar Hector and Duffy, we haven't lost any of our centre-halves. Stockford obviously ended his loan, but we've still got the first 2 choices from last season. So Matt Clark is still there, as is Jack Stevens. Robson Brown adds to that, a very strong player. That gives us 3 brilliant centre-halves. More on that front to come later. Then Greg Sommerfeld was a pre-agreed deal from TNS. £1.8 He's never going to make it. I've no idea why he was signed, to be honest. So we're just going to not mention that one. We'll probably never hear his name ever again. Then the second loanee from Manchester City is Ian Wardley. He's a left and right back with 3-star ability, 5-star potential. Left-footed, probably comes in as a better replacement for Naka. He's going to be our backup left back behind the first choice Miranda this year. Another really good player and adds depth to the squad. Brave, he's got a good personality. Physically, he's excellent. He's an England under-21 international, so must have a really high potential. On to the other permanent deal, that's Mark Thacker from Fulham. 250 grand, rising to over £500,000. A 16-year-old centre-half, not quite good enough yet, so let's go and get him down into the under-18s. 3.5-star potential, 1.5 ability. Good determination though, so he may well reach that potential with good training. Then 2 more loans towards the end of July for the season. Daniel Hiyee joins in from Southampton on loan. 3-star ability, 5-star potential for the young centre-half. Another one to add to the squad there. He's a decent player, not quite as good as Robson Brown, or the 2 that we had at the club already. He played for Salford last season, so let's see what level they're at. League One, he had a really good year, so it's probably the next natural step up, training with a Championship club, and he'll be our 4th choice central defender this year, and I'm sure he'll get chances in cup games and the like. Then finally on loan from Chelsea, we've got Paul Curtis coming in for a season, a 19-year-old central defender yet again. And this is why Hiyee signing's pretty irrelevant, because he's another central defender. 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential, is a wonder kid according to the media. England under-21 international at 19, looks probably the best of any at the club. Just a slight weakness in tackling, but he can play out from the back, and that suits the ball-playing defenders we like to use. But I'm really surprised that we've signed 3 on loan. That means we've now got 5 top centre-halves. We're only playing a back 2 again, but maybe we will have to go back to the back 3 if need be. It is there and available if we need to use it, so maybe these 2 lads will come in, because we have now got more centre-halves than anything else, and 4 of them are absolutely excellent. But that's the summer work at the moment with 5 days to go. The window's going to be slamming shut at that point. There's still 74 million in the bank, over 10 million in the transfer budget, 875 on the wages. So in the next episode, don't despair, there'll be more summer transfer antics. We'll play this game on camera today. Then next time out, we're going to have transfer deadline day. I hope it's as exciting as January. That was an unbelievable episode. If we can have that again, I'll be very happy. And I wouldn't rule it out with the state of the budgets. So let's go and get into the first game of the season today. Not too bad on the dynamics front, because everything's pretty much stayed the same from last year. Dylan Phillips wants to join Brighton. That's the only one that's a bit of a worry. We will need a centre-half if that's the case. Arazo's not had any bids yet. We said we'd accept the 30 million release clause. No one's come near it just yet. So that means that going into today, we have pretty much the same squad as last year. But it's Swansea against Charlton. Let's see who's favourites. Charlton only just, though. It's a very even game. Pretty even head-to-head records as well. Silver and Justin missing out for us. Selena missing out for them. And if we go and look at the season preview, we're expected to finish in 7th place, 12-1 outsiders for promotion. Swansea expected to finish in the top 3. They're expected to be competing for the automatic spots. So they're probably one of the few teams you'd expect to beat us this year. Matthew Debuchy there, I've just noticed, manager of Sheffield United. A few interesting stats going around the clubs, but let's go and get into our first game of the season. So you can see I'm sticking with the same tactic. I haven't gone for my 11 yet, but I'll put it together now and we'll be back in a moment. We'll discuss the lineup that's going to fit into it this year. Okay, the lineup is chosen and you'll be surprised to know that there's no changes from last season's team. Just Alex Mowatt coming back in as Chem Campbell's no longer on loan. Aside from that, it's the exact 11 you'd expected last season. Obviously Kenny in for Justin, who's injured at fullback. We've got a lot of the new players on the bench today though. So we've got Curtis and Wardley, the 2 defensive substitutes, and then we've got a couple of surprise names as well. So Michael O'Neill back from his loan spell. He's improving and is going to be our backup striker this season. And then another one which we've promoted from the youth team. I'm really excited about this guy, is Ian Edwards. He's got a boring name, but he's certainly not a boring player. 2.5 ability, 4-star potential, 18 years of age. He's a really good central and attacking midfielder. Good player, he's got great long shots, good determination, really good work rate. Physically he's excellent, mentally he's good. We've just got to work on his passing and technique. Other than that, he's going to be an absolute superstar, and I've got really high hopes for him this season. His training rating's excellent every week and he's got really high potential, so I hope he can become a Premier League star. We're a little bit short in central midfield, just Henry available other than those 2, and Vukotic obviously on the bench too. We're really struggling for good central midfielders, we just haven't replaced Chem Campbell. Then in the reserves, we've also got another youngster promoted from the youth team. This one's Dominic Morin. He's a backup right winger for now, 2-star ability, 5-star potential, only 17, he'll still play for the youth teams quite a lot, but I want to try and get him on the bench in a few cup games. Looks a really good prospect and he's also got very high determination, so I think in training he'll continue to improve too. Both of those with an average rating above 9 in training most of the time, so that bodes really well for the future. But our 11 today, as expected, is Dylan Phillips in goal, possibly the last time we'll see him in a Charlton shirt. Clark and Stevens, the 2 central defenders, both ball players still, we're not changing that. Curtis picked ahead of Robson Brown on the bench just because he's a better ball playing defender. Selne's the superstar in a holding role, Baptiste in the middle alongside Mowatt, and then Delgado and Mariano Morin on the wings with Arezo up front. We'll be hoping for a better season out of him. So it's just Alex Mowat that's the weakness really. I know Delgado's star rating's lower, but he was sensational for us last season. And at 27, he's not going to decline just yet. So I fancy him to have another good year for us. But that's the 11, the 18 as we've mentioned. A few surprise names on the bench today. And Benitez starting to struggle to January signing, but a good backup for Delgado if need be. So let's go and get into our first game of the season. Let me know in the comments where you think we'll finish this year. And do you think we can start the season in style? Or am I going to be very disappointed in 5 or 10 minutes? Here we go then, 4-2-3-1. Sam Field I recognise in the middle. Roberts at right back, another good player. Nick Pope in goal, he must be experienced now. They've got a few youngsters as well. Chervy over on the left is a good player. A couple of regens in the team, but other than that, a pretty mixed side. They've got a balance of youth and experience. I can see the likes of Alzati and Obiang on the bench, so they've got some players to bring on if they need to. Certainly to shore things up if they're leading. But we're going to encourage the lads and get into the first half and see if no changes means exactly the same thing. If it's not broken, don't fix it. We did finish last season in pretty poor form, but aside from that we had a really good run at Charlton and I'm hoping we'll be able to continue in the same vein. We're nearly 15 minutes on the clock and it's Selnays to take the free kick into Clark who heads in, completely unmarked the tall central defender. He's one of our best players in the air I'm sure. 14 heading, 16 jumping reach. He's about 6'3" as well and they've just left him completely unmarked in there. The keeper think Pope got a hand to it, couldn't quite keep it out though, and with 20 minutes gone we lead 1-0. The perfect start to the championship season. Nick Pope only 32, still looks a very good goalkeeper, couldn't do enough to keep that one out though. With half an hour gone, Swansea back into it, but we've got another free kick with Selnays. Oh, the keeper's made a howler again. Might be a good player, but he's not having a good game. Nick Pope lets it through his hands. Mowat's there at the back post, no one marking him, and he's got a completely open goal and just volleys it in from 6 yards, and we lead 2-0 against the runner play at Swansea. They've had the same amount of chances as us. We've both had 2 on target. The only difference is our 2 have gone in and their 2 haven't even been worthy of a highlight. Half time it is 2-0. What a fantastic start, and I couldn't have dreamt for much more than this. I'm starting to get optimistic again, people. Don't forget they were expected to finish 3rd in the media preview, and if we can hold this out for the 90 minutes it will be the perfect start to the championship season. Dylan Phillips might regret leaving at this rate. I'm sure he'll be on his bike in the next week, but at least he can finish us off with a win. We really need a good goalkeeper in replacement for him. It's probably the only thing I'm really worried about now, although Swansea in 1-on-1, Phillips makes an unbelievable save, and that just illustrates the point I was making. We have to get someone as good or better than him if we want to go up to the Premier League next season. Phillips not tested with a corner though, as the header's gone comfortably over the bar. Quarter of the game to go, first change being made. Delgado wasn't really match fit for this game, so I'm just going to give Benitez the last 25. We'll leave it another 5 and then make another one. Just gradually stagger them across the last half an hour. Antonio Marin next, Tregover's on for him. That gives us now 15 minutes to play with, and then the last one will be either Baptista or Arezo. We don't want to mess with the back 5. Here's Richards with a throw for Swansea. Good challenge by Benitez. The substitute doing really well there, although I might have spoken too soon as he tries to go cross goal, intercepted on halfway by Connor Roberts, into Phillips 1-on-1, good shot and save by Dylan Phillips. The flag was up for offside, but he wasn't to know that, and it's a brilliant bit of goalkeeping again. So Arezo's a little bit tired and uninterested to be honest, so I'm going to bring on Michael O'Neill. It's a shame I couldn't get Edwards on for his debut, but for now Michael O'Neill will make his return to the club. He's another really good young prospect. Selnays with a corner into the box, headed away towards Mowat. He's there, he knocks it down for Jack Stevens, sorry, mixing him up with a Brighton player, but on the counter Swansea have skinned everyone. Unas beats the whole team, he's in 1-on-1. That's an incredible goal. Regover was back, as was John Joe Kenny, didn't even put up a fight, and we tend to go, we're going to drop to balance, try and time waste, we just got to see it out now. We always struggle in the last 10 minutes, the lads not just quite comfortable playing our 90 minutes pressing game, and with the last 10 we're just going to try and take some of the momentum, and hopefully we'll hold on for a precious victory. It looks like we're about to, 4 minutes of stoppage time up, we win 2-1 on the first day of the season. Swansea City 1, Charlton Athletic 2, the 3rd favourites for the championship beaten away from home. That is an incredible start to the season, and 2 set pieces doing the job. That shows just how the work on the training ground should be done. Well done to the lads, they're all delighted. What a start to the championship season, and hopefully that'll attract a few players to us on deadline day and make our director of football job a little bit easier. So let's quickly see what the media said about the game. We're in 7th place, exactly where we're predicted to finish this year. Guess who was the surprise man? Selnay's with 2 brilliant set pieces. His deliveries leading to the goals. In terms of the post-match press conference, we're just going to go and tell the lads we're pleased with everything. We're delighted with the hard work. They're improving in terms of set pieces. There's not a lot you can do when your opponent plays well. That was Unas who scored a supreme super strike. Solo effort, running the length of the pitch. Well, I wasn't too pleased with the defending. But let's have a look at the schedule for when we'll next be back. We've also got to mention a few new staff coming in. The team's gradually increasing. He's just bringing 1 or 2 in. Seems to be taking the time to find the right people. I've got to say I'm really impressed with that. Ben Foster, the latest addition. Good young goalkeeping coach he is. Going to add to the 2 that we've already got at the club. We've had 1 scout come in, 1 member of the physio team as well. So everything's looking pretty rosy at the moment. I'm really pleased with how things are going. I'm really excited heading into deadline day. If it's anything as special as the last one was. And if with 5 days to go, with potentially our keeper leaving, loads of money remaining on the transfer and wage budget, I've got a feeling the next episode's going to be a cracker, and I hope you won't miss it. Please come and join me in 2 days' time. So we'll be back with that episode on Monday. We'll be back 5 days later in-game. We'll be playing through transfer deadline day, and then providing there's not too much action, we'll play the Huddersfield game as well, before leaving it a little while before the 3rd one. But if you did enjoy this episode, that fantastic start to the season, and the clever little bits of transfer business in the loan window, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the signing so far, what else you think is going to happen in the last 5 days, where is our director of football going to work? I did notice to see Chem Campbell is wanted by Charlton, but I haven't seen any offers yet in the summer, so maybe that'll be another addition yet again. He's still on the loan list at Milan, so that wouldn't shock me, but otherwise I'm really looking forward to deadline day. With January, it was just the most enjoyable, exciting and dramatic episode, and I hope it'll be the same again in this one. Let me know what you think I should do with all the centre half. Should we consider changing to a back 3? I know we probably can't tell until the window's over. I feel like the rest of the side is working really well, functioning as it should though, to be honest. So I don't know if it's worth changing to a back 3, risking that harmony just to fit in good players. Do we just have to accept their backups? They're not our players, we're not going to gain too much from it. And who knows, we could get another big offer in January. We might not even be at the club, we could get a Premier League team, but I'm really enjoying this spell at Charlton at the moment. And the Tycoon owned club are going from strength to strength, and we've got another Tycoon transfer deadline day on the way. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content, 2 long-term stories. This one will be back in 2 days, as we've already mentioned, with the dramatic close of the transfer window. And then tomorrow in between we'll be back with Dorking Wanderers. We've got our end of season review in that one, focusing on some of our revolution ahead in the summer. Don't forget in that one the complete opposite. We're in charge of everything at the club, all the transfers, all the contracts, all the staffing, and we'll be talking a bit more about that in tomorrow's episode, as well as our player of the season vote and all our other usual end of year features. Then on Tuesday in that one, of course, we'll have our own summer transfer special from Dorking. Probably not quite as many big fees in that one, but just as dramatic with a big squad turnover. So I'm hoping you'll come and join me for those as well. It's a really enjoyable point in both series. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews, and you can see the link to the matchday vlogs in the eye above. We've also had some serious discussions recently, talking about the impact injuries have had on all of us in amateur football. It does hit a little bit hard, that one, to be honest. But a massive thank you for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time for another big episode as we go through another transfer deadline day at Tycoon owned Charlton Athletic.